Welcome to Shom Achshava on the Daf. We're holding in Chulin Daf Lamed Ches. And then with base, we have the Mishnah regarding Shchita Laves Kechavim. What happens if someone has Shchitos and the owner has the wrong Machshava? And the Gemara goes on to explain that the Tanakama and Rav Lazar hold that they like Rav Lazar Rav Yosef, that Baili Mifaglim, that the owner has the ability to cause pigul to the korban, even though he's not the one doing the Maisa Shchita or the Maisa korban. But he's the owner, so he has the power to ruin the korban. So here comes Rav Yosef Engel comes and asks a question based on this Gemara. If the din is that the owner could come and ruin the korban, so every saito that you bring to Beis Hamikdash, she's going to bring the mincha of saito, so she could come and ruin the korban by having a wrong machshava. She is the owner. The owner has the power to be mefagel the korban. So Saito will ruin her mincha with pigul, and male the mincha will not check her, the water will not check her. I mentioned a similar question a few days ago that the Saito will cause the mincha to become tummy. And that's the reason that some explain that that's why the mincha of Saito doesn't have oils, it won't be kosher l'kabel tumah. And this is a similar question. The machshavas pigul of the owner of the Saito will come and ruin her mincha. So the fascinating thing, and the reason it's brought down in this shiurim of Shom Achshava on the Daf, is to come and be mizboinen. The Rav Yosef Engel wrote on this question 80 answers, and he wrote it on a sefer called Gevurus Shmonim. 80 answers to this one question. How great and amazing is the Torah Gedosha that you can write in one small question 80 answers. Just mention some of the answers that are also to our sugi over here. Answer number 1 says Rav Yosef Engel, that really the owner is not considered to be the owner of the korban by Kodesh Kadoshim. Only by Kodesh Kalim is considered to be the owner. So therefore he can't really ruin the korban because he is not the real owner of the korban. Then in the second answer he goes on to say, what's up shot really, how does the owner dove have maybe a koyach to be mefagel? It's only when you have Maisa Shchita, because Shchita is kosher bizarre. So the owner has some shaykhs to the korban because he can check it. But by a mincha, you can't. The isha doesn't do. There's no shchita over there. The owner cannot be involved in any way. So there, you don't say you can do pigul. He says this answer is really a medrash rabbah, because the medrash rabbah says isha jubeis yisrael sheyishchot taya b'shmoel lefisha yisrael asur mebasar taiva midbar. Because in the midbar you can't eat regular meat. Lefikach yizur makos shemivim korban esayim lakoyen. והכהן שייכת ומקבל, אף על פי שהיו ביילים יוישו מחשבים כל היום, אין הכל הולך אלא אחר שייכת. So the owners cannot ruin the korban in the time of the midbar. So he wants to say, based on the fact that they can't eat meat, that shchita was possible bizarre. Because the only reason shchita is kosher bizarre because it's not different than shchita of any other animal. But because in the midbar they did not have basatayvos, they didn't have shchita, the whole yesod that the fact that the owner has the power to ruin the korban is only if he's able to do shchita. You can't do shchita. That's shot of that midrash. Answer number 8 of Rav Yosef Engel over there is that it's exeres hakosov. The Torah says they have to bring a saita. A saita will be mefagel. Exeres hakosov is she can do pigul. And he goes on to add that the Gemara tells us in Menachos Daf Hey, the idea of Me'ilah, Machshava works, is only something that's not a Chiddush. It says, Saita is considered to be a Chiddush because you're bringing in Minas Yoyim from barley. It's different. So there you can learn from the Indian of Saita to the rest of the Torah. Continues on the same Mahalach in answer number 9 and says, you can't learn Efshar Mishay Efshar. By Saita, there's no other choice. How will you check out Saita? So the fact that it's Efshar, that's a reason to tell you that their pigul doesn't work. And number 21, he answers based on taste later in the sugyo that has a suffix that pigul could be machshava or has to be b'dibur. So it has to be b'dibur. They will put their people to make sure that she will not say the words pigul. And finally, in number 39, he brings an answer which is a little more machshavadik. Says, what's the idea of the korban? The whole idea of korbanos is that you get close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So he goes on to say that's really how Saita works as well. Saita, because she gets close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then it comes in his mevar ovo and checks if she's really, how close is she to HaKadosh Baruch Hu or not. So he goes and he says a big chiddush. He says by pigul, we know, more it tells us, but pigul is meratze. If it's not meratze, it won't be pigul. It does work. It does come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So even though the korban is pasul, but the skarvus are getting close to Hashem and having the test of how close you are, that works even if it becomes pigul. So in other words, the Saita does have the ability to make a pigul, but it doesn't make a difference, it still will check her. V'hayin sham, all the 80 answers he goes on to say, and to be mispoiled on the unbelievable, godless, and a harchava that we can find in the Torah HaKadoshah. Anyone who wants to join and sponsor the Shom Machshava Shiurim, please email shommachshava@gmail.com.